The only direction I really give them is to look into my lens. I want whoever's looking at the picture to be looking into this person's eyes. Because we've always looked away. And it's not time to look away anymore. All right, shoulder forward. There you go. Right? He's actually just terrified. I'm like, sorry. I think it's so awkward. My body with every new tattoo is becoming a visual representation of the pain I feel. A shrine to that one act I wish I had the balls to carry out. The body feels like a lead weight. I can't help but feel like everybody's disappointed in me. Girlfriend drunk, alone, alone, alone. We had this argument where she said she would help me die. Okay. I was scared about having graduated college. I was scared about life. I was scared about money. I just lost it. Like, that was the tipping point. Nobody else has felt this before? Question mark. This is just the day I tried to kill myself. Just all day. All day I was going. I just didn't really know what to do next. I hadn't really discussed my attempt with people. It wasn't a thing that I could talk to, like, my boss about. On bad days, I couldn't call out depressed. I started getting myself on industry lists to go to shows. But it was getting to a point where shooting rock stars wasn't fulfilling anymore. That was not filling my soul. I started to look for other people like me. I was kind of like, why do I feel like I'm the only one? I know that I hear about suicide on TV.
The 14-year-old teenager committed suicide after the release of an embarrassing video.
Actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63 from an apparent suicide.
How could you think of killing yourself? We love you.
What he did was selfish. I just can't imagine things getting so messed up that you would consider taking your own life.
But where is everyone? Why am I the only one like, yeah, that happened to me and that sucked?
You know, when I grew up in Brooklyn, nobody committed suicide. You know, everyone was too unhappy.
I decided that I would interview other attempt survivors and get their stories, whatever they wanted to tell me. And then right after they told me, I would make a portrait. I know you've been a model. A male model. A hair model.
I love living out here. We see a bear once in a while. It's crazy. If it wasn't such a long commute to work, I would live even further into the woods. Play artist, Cold Steel Crown.
Playing the artist, Cold Steel Crown.
there was a part of me that really liked those incredibly dark moments where I felt like nobody else experiences things like I do. You know what I love about every other band I would play with? They always stick around for it. I'm too old for it now. The first time I considered suicide, I was 8 years old. I remember standing in my kitchen and no one else was home. I was there and I was alone. I was very alone. And in the sink was this large chef's knife. And I kept thinking, what could it do to me? I know what it's capable of doing. It could make my life end. At that time, I was being molested and had been being molested for a few years prior. Most of the incidents occurred in a crawl space beneath my house. There were times when I could hear my family's footsteps on the floor above me while it was going on. Nobody knew about it, except for the kids in the neighborhood and the kids I went to school with. And at that age, I mean, talk about ammo for bullying. I just reached a point where I stopped caring, I stopped believing. That's where my heart broke for life. I didn't want to live life. I sat on the edge of a rented bed one night. I filled my body with pills and I went to sleep. And I had no intention of waking up. I remember my brother, on the third day that I was in the intensive care unit, they were almost ready to release me to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation. And it was just my brother and I in there alone. It was very quiet. We didn't know what to say, and all of a sudden he leans over to me and he says, "What's gonna make you want to stay?" I think the reason that question hit me so hard was because I really didn't have an answer.
I had no idea when all this started why he didn't talk about it. Maybe he was ashamed. I don't know what it was. I wish I'd known. How come you always say rented bed?
Because I was paying rent.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not full of shit.
She didn't take a nickel from you.
I used my food stamps. I would give my food stamps to her.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's why I say that, because it was like that. It wasn't my place, you know?
I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not blaming him, of course, but I wish he would have asked me or told me or something. He didn't.
That darkness is the only life I ever knew. I didn't know what it was like to be confident. I didn't know what it was like to think positively. I was very comfortable in a place that was dark.
The morning I found him, I got up early. I went to a doctor's appointment. Came back. He wasn't up yet, so I went up to wake him up. Knocked on his door a few times. They didn't answer, so I opened it up. He was laying in bed. Picked him up, tried to wake him up. I couldn't. He yelled out to call 911. They came, took him down UMass. I went right behind him, of course. That was the worst morning of my life.
Oh, shit. It's like 6 in the morning, and I'm trying to find a bridge or a wall or something that I can get the picture that I'm looking for. I definitely need some kind of privacy because I don't want people freaking out that there's a guy in a gas mask hanging out under a bridge or something.
I felt like a total failure. What did I miss? How come I didn't see it? No. I was kicking my own ass for a while. All the nights he went to bed crying and didn't want to go to school the next day because he'd get his ass kicked. That's the final round, doing something like that. And I think, what the hell pushed him to it? I had, you know, I'd just scare the hell out of you.
Just because I care, I used the washable marker and brought bleach to clean it all up with.
Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. If we can't talk about it, we sure as heck can't do something different or better about it.
We lose 112 people every day. That's bigger than a small jet airplane. And if we had one plane falling out of the sky every single day, I guarantee you our country would make it a priority.
I couldn't stand to look at myself in the mirror. And that certainly stems from my sexuality. I thought I had to prove myself, to prove that I was not just a total burden because I was gay.
All right, we're almost done.
I knew suicide was a topic that people were so scared of. How do I pursue this in a way that's not going to be cliche or triggering or gory or gross?
That's so cool.
A lot of the time I come across these people and they have never told anyone their story. You know, unloading that when it's something that you've been made to feel shameful about is really powerful.
My first attempt was when I was 12. I don't know, now as someone who works with kids, any attempt that a 12-year-old makes is a pretty serious attempt. A 12-year-old should not have thoughts like that.
Often the photo is the hardest part. Like, I just told you the worst parts of my life, but now I have to stand here in front of your camera. There are so many different kinds of people that I've interviewed. All different shapes and sizes and gender presentations and sexualities and ethnicities and faiths.
When you're trying to end your life, you are inevitably going to be dying alone. And something kicked in that said, I don't want to be by myself. I just want somebody to know that I'm in this extreme pain that can't seem to end.
When people agree to do these interviews, they know going in that I have also attempted suicide. They know that I'm not going to judge them.
She wasn't crazy, but the world had a way of making her feel so. She liked the darkness, how it wrapped around her like a warm, familiar blanket, spilled words from her lips like red wine on white carpets. She said whatever the fuck she wanted. They called her Crazy K, and it stuck. She wasn't crazy, just honest. She didn't want to live. Because when your world ends, but you're still alive, there's something crazy about that.
Hey, does this look exciting? Does it? Oh my God, Atticus.
She was 13 when she wrote the first suicide note. It was on a Post-it. She wasn't crazy, but succinct as fuck.
For Christmas, my mom decided that she would make me a collage of basically our entire lives together. I call her a lot, just to hear her voice, just to kind of be soothed that something is stable in the world. Okay, so just do this and move.
Bring it over.
Okay. Oh, shit.
And there's a car.
Oh God, oh God, oh God. There's a lot of stigma and shame, especially in the African American community. And so there was this, you just have to be strong. But being cast as a strong Black woman, that almost led me to death.
God, look at this posture.
You know, hashtag suicide so white. It's because it doesn't. Can we? Hashtag suicide so white? Yeah. You know, I'm like a teenage girl and I'm telling my friends about not wanting to be around. When I'd say I'm feeling really down, they'd just be like, get over it. The reaction of the people around me was just, shut up. So what I learned was, oh, I better not share this with anyone. I better bury this deep inside of myself and build this mask. And it's starting to get really stressful and I'm still pretending to be happy, but I'm suicidal and, but I'm squishing it down and I'm doing all of this stuff. And then I get raped. I was raped by someone that I knew, someone that I thought was a friend. And I drove by, accidentally, my assailant's house. Once that happened, I was like, I gotta go. You can't fake your way out of this. You can't smile out of this. This is the bottom. In that moment, it just exploded. The mask, the pretending, the lying. I was like, I don't fucking care anymore. I don't want to live.
All our mom could say was, why, baby?
Anytime you attempt, you first have to go to the medical hospital where they make sure everything's okay. And I have this nurse tell me, don't let yourself get raped again. I'm in a psych ward and I'm like, oh, I want to react to this and you have power over me and you think the helpful thing is to tell me not to get raped again? Meanwhile, we're watching they're actually showing Silence of the Lambs in the mental hospital and I'm telling the nurses, I'm like, do you guys think this is a appropriate movie choice?
You can't make that shit up.
You can't make that shit up. Oh, man. What I learned from being in the hospital was how never to be in a hospital again. There's still ups and downs. I mean, I find ways through music, through my karaoke, through my poetry to live better. It was a big smashing this mask of, I'm gonna make you laugh and make you look that way.
Oh my God.
Secrets made me sick. That's what I really think about it.
I want more of your hand in that, but look at that shit.
That's my face. Hey, it's okay. It's not bad.
Tell me your name, how old you are, what you do, and then your story, however you want to tell it.
Leah Harris. I'm 39, Arlington, Virginia, and I'm a mental health advocate / activist. When I'm grumpy, I'm an activist. When I'm nice, I'm an advocate.
Can everybody hear me? My name is Leah Harris, and I am a survivor. We survived, and we must celebrate that. in the midst of the grief and the rage for all who've lost their lives and their dreams.
I remember having my first suicidal thoughts when I was probably 7.
My mother really tried her best as a single mom to raise me on her own, but I'm a single parent and I'm doing pretty well. And it's still hard. And just to imagine what my mom went through trying to raise me. She was living on disability, diagnosed with schizophrenia. She would take herself off the medication because it made her sleep. And who can, raise a child when you're sleeping 14 hours a day? Eventually the court systems came in and I was taken away from her. That was a rupture that changed the course of both of our lives. She was institutionalized until she died at age 46. My grandparents who raised me after I was taken away from my mom, their mentality was, suck it up. I said it would have been better if I'd never been born.
My family obviously freaked out. So I was shipped off to a child psychiatrist, and she would just kind of peer at me from across a desk and show me ink blots. I had these sort of existential questions that are sort of the questions that the great philosophers have always asked, like, why are we here? Which, if you're like an old white man, that's considered, philosophy. But for me, it was a sign of pathology. I just always felt like an alien, like a burden. I didn't know why I was here. My family didn't want me anymore. They placed me in a group home. And they said, yeah, you're gonna have to be here for the rest of your life. You're severely disabled. I was terrified that I was gonna go down my mother's path. I actually heard a doctor say to my grandparents, she has more than a 50% chance of ending up like her parents. Like every mistake I made was a symptom of my illness rather than just like, I'm human. We're all gonna like fuck up from time to time. I begged my family to let me come home. And I'm lucky that I had them.
Turn your body a little bit to the side here.
Not everybody has a family to come home to.
Don't look so uncomfortable. Loose, loose, loose.
Things kind of started to shift for me then. I got my high school diploma. I just started to have like the smallest amount of hope.
Look into my lens so I can see your soul.
It's sort of like a mission for me to support others who have been suicidal, to become advocates. And Aiden, like myself, is somebody who really views mental health as a social justice issue.
As somebody that is not necessarily female or male, I've purposefully worked really hard over the last 4 years trying to stay here.
The part of me that wants to live is much stronger. That balance was not always so firm, it was often skewed much more towards wanting to die.
Every trans person you meet is an advocate. Like they always say, all of us know each other. We all know each other because we're all activists. Time magazine said this is our tipping point. We got a hell of a lot more work to do because all the laws in the world will not make a difference if half of us are dead. And that is what is happening. The violence that we experience, the discrimination, that's where these suicidal thoughts are coming from. Because we know that it's literally life or death for us, that fire is huge.
All right, I think this is the last question.
Okay.
Is suicide still an option for you?
When I became a mother, I just sort of took it off the table.
you know, for me as an option. You know, I don't know that I'll ever be cured of having suicidal feelings, and I don't know that I need to be, but I do know that, you know, I want to be there to see my son grow up. That's really important to me. Hello?
You gonna enjoy this? Me following you around with a camera all the time?
I really like watching you be cross-eyed as you look at the camera in your hand.
Am I cross-eyed? Okay, goodbye.
Des and I met on OkCupid. I was looking for someone who would be really fun and easy and did not look like they wanted a relationship. And I saw her profile and it was really fucked up. It was basically like, I've been through this terrible divorce. I don't want anything to do with a relationship. And if you can't talk about suicide with me in an academic way, then don't even bother. I was like, who is this insane person? With a rat on her shoulder in the profile picture. Oh, the rat.
This is our mausoleum cubby. This is the rat's box. This is my dad, he's at the beach. And the rat's in her box.
I really wanted to date the rat on OkCupid.
I would.
She's hot.
She's dead.
One of the major challenges of being with somebody who has a mental illness is that you are worrying for their well-being and if they will harm themselves, in addition to worrying for them, like, just as a person. We're always talking about, like, how do we stop it from escalating? And I think that's common to any relationship.
It is literally a life and death struggle. I want to live, but I am very well aware of the fact that there's this thing that's always going to be plaguing me.
Our landlord raised the rent $100. We're gonna end up, like, having to move a train stop away every time. Until suicide starts paying the bills. Look, I got into this relationship because I was hitching my wagon to your suicide star. Like, I don't understand why it's not happening yet.
Remember that, my suicide star.
Today is Easter Sunday, and I'm kind of in a springtime mood, feeling good, feeling happy. I want to break the cycle of all the dark, creepy photography that I've been doing lately and put in some flowers and things like that. Make sure they're backlit by the sun, and then I just spray some water on them while I photograph it. So hopefully you'll like the photos and find it a little more upbeat than some of the gas mask stuff.
All right, Emma, ready? Put your hand on a blue star.
Tomorrow, mainly sunny skies will jump up nicely to around 72 in the afternoon. Sun-soaked day.
Suicide. Suicide, the way I can describe it to you is it was the first thought in my mind every single day. It was my option. It was my solution to everything. I really, really want to change people. I want to change the way people think. I want them to leave that room totally changed and think of suicide in a completely different way.
That's hard. That's
It's very hard,
people.
but sometimes I do it really well and everybody's moved. And there's other times when there's a guy in the back nodding off. The pressure is unreal.
I think why that's hard for me to understand is because you like it. So it's hard for me
Yeah, that
sometimes
is
to know why
really
you
weird.
keep
I
doing
don't
it when
know.
you say how.
I don't have an explanation for that.
Yeah.
We were together for almost 5 years before we had kids. I just remember thinking how nervous he seemed and how cute he was, and he told me everything that first night about who he was and his history, and it was refreshing, the honesty.
I can't tell you how many times I was asked the question if I wanted to die, but no one ever, not once was I asked if I wanted to live. Saying yes, I want to live, that's up at the ceiling. Saying no, I don't want to die just means that I'm still that 8-year-old kid laying on the kitchen floor with a knife next to me sobbing. I went to get my hair cut, and the woman cutting my hair, she said, "What, do you have any plans for the weekend?" I said, "Oh yeah, I'm giving a talk. It's about a suicide attempt that I had." I could see her in the mirror. She just froze up and got really, really numb. And she started talking about it a little more, and she's cut my hair, and she started talking about it a little more, and I could see the release on her as she kept cutting my hair. She ended up cutting my hair, I think, 4 full times, to the point that I was like, I can't go any shorter. Can you please stop? And then she said, I had an uncle that died by suicide. You know, the reason it gets to where it is because we don't talk about it. To say I'm an attempt survivor, and even say the word suicide, is a record stopper.
A snow picture. Mommy got us a bag of markers.
Awesome. Fatherhood is, to me, the most difficult thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. It destroys my self-confidence. And I have these huge fears that I'm going to have a negative impact on their life because I'm not raising them correctly.
He wants so much to be the perfect father, but because of his job and all the work he does with prevention, he's not around a lot. Often, even on the weekends, sometimes he doesn't leave the bedroom. It hits me because I've heard of that. You know, growing up, I know about people who say, oh yeah, they never leave the room. Like, oh gosh. And then that's how my life became.
This is a letter I got from some girl. I think she's 14 years old. This is what she wrote on the front. She had a plan, and now she doesn't want to die, and she's going to go get help. It's important to me that I tell you the whole story. I made that decision when I wrote the book and decided to come forward as an attempt survivor. When I was writing, I was there. I had times when I had tears in my eyes for hours while I wrote as fast as my fingers would go across the board.
I never knew he was writing a book until he wrote the book, until afterwards. He didn't tell anybody. When are you going to Atlanta?
Going to Atlanta in April. I'm driving down to American Association of Suicidology's national conference. I'm speaking on a panel there.
He's got a second chance, and he is definitely using it. You know, he ain't sitting home saying, hey, I'll never do that again. He's telling other people not to do it, because you might not get a second chance.
It's been a very, very long journey, and I believe wholeheartedly that I have achieved balance. As a writer, as a speaker, as a husband, as a daddy. What happened? What happened? What happened? What? This is the time that I have to kind of take a moment and just be with myself and take care of me.
When he's upset and sometimes needs to go for a drive, I never worry that he won't come back. I think he's much stronger than he lets on.
In the grip of feeble hands, through a veil of hazy eyes, your colors swirl in silence beneath a ghostly rise. Embrace me in your warmth as we bid farewell the night and kiss my weary lips to bring me back to life. Most people think when they read this that it's about losing somebody. I actually wrote this about my coffee. So that's one of my favorites.
Not every story has to be shiny and happy, and that's not reality. But people do go through their ups and downs, and you can come back from this.
You just want me to talk?
Just talk, yeah. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
There are parts of me of which I'm glad I'm alive, but there's many parts of me that I really wish I wasn't. I don't know if I'm really safe. I don't know if I'm out of the woods yet.
When was your last attempt?
2.5 years ago. I have 2 really amazing kids. That's the reason I'm still alive.
Isn't that what those are for?
Yeah, exactly.
To irritate you and keep you alive?
Yeah, damn it.
Such a stud. My perfect shot.
I mean, when you first told me, I was incredibly shocked to begin with. Like, thinking of taking your own life, that's scary and sad and shouldn't happen. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like, hearing that, it definitely made my heart drop, and, like, I just can't even imagine it without you in my life. Don't even want to think about it, but I know I need to.
I never, ever would want to leave you or hurt you.
I don't know. I'm really glad you did tell me this. I think you're stronger than I did before because you're going out and reaching out and telling me. Like, I want to be there for you if you need help.
I want to wake up and see the day and go, oh, it's a new day. This is awesome. This is what I want.
You look good, girl.
Thank you so much. Since I've come out with my story, I want to do everything I can to share that more. And I am about to start working the Suicide Crisis Line.
Suicide Prevention Center Crisis Line.
So Sarah, if you'd like, I can give you the
So you lost your job and your girlfriend. That's pretty rough. How have you been handling it?
I just wanted to how can help.
So it sounds like you're trying to reach out and get some support before it gets worse, huh?
Do you have a plan of how you would do it?
Sounds like you really need somebody to talk to.
You know, talk about how to keep yourself safe.
What we have to do is help people feel safe and comfortable to talk about something that scares the hell out of them. And if somebody can connect with you in that moment where you're feeling like there's no reason to live, that takes them out of the aloneness. And the moment that they're not feeling alone, they're already safer than they were before they spoke with you.
Le quiero hacer unas preguntas primeramente en caso si le tengo que dar algún recurso. ¿Cuál es su código postal?
She's fine. Ended up well. I just had to make sure that you had the support that you needed for that too. No, not everybody can do this. A lot of people care, but it's sometimes really difficult to put that care and that passion and compassion into the right kind of skill set to talk to people who are thinking about suicide. Brandon was one of our own. He was a very, very good counselor. I think he saved many lives.
How long has it been since you've had any kind of psychiatric help?
This was his way of staying alive, I think, for a number of years.
Are you calling us because you're having bad symptoms or so?
Brandon was the only shift supervisor I've ever had who had groupies.
Preguntas primeramente en caso si le tengo que dar algún recurso. ¿Cuál es su código postal?
When Brandon and I started spending time together, it was like he got me in a way that nobody else understood me.
That was him. When he was happy, he seemed like he was damn happy. This was his home for the last 10 years of his life, was here.
Anyway, that's like the gist of it.
Don't wanna see the light, 'cause I don't feel any light
He was a rock star.
anymore.
And that's when he grew his hair really long, so he looked like a rock star.
Don't wanna wake up anymore.
He was such a goofball that it didn't at all fit with the intensity of the times when he was on the phone with me, threatening to kill himself if I got off the phone with him.
Maybe I shouldn't say goodbye, but it seems the time.
One day he called me, and I went over to his house, and he was in a really, really crazy state. He wouldn't look me in the eye. He was just pacing back and forth, kind of shaking and fidgeting. He turned to this door, and I remember this so vividly. He started banging his head against the large glass door. I'm a junior in high school that's never dealt with anything like this. 6 months later, an episode like that would not have seemed unusual to me at all. The days of looking at a phone ringing and you could see the caller ID. And I remember specifically thinking, gosh, I should be answering the phone, but I can't do it.
This is a place that it was kind of his inner sanctum. It was both his live space and his workspace. And to be, invited up here was like to be invited into his heart in a way. This wasn't lyrics as far as I know. This was just kind of, I think, something that nobody really wanted to question him too much about.
Asking him, are you suicidal? I couldn't ask him that early on. I couldn't even face that. There was really that side of me, that this is all gonna end. He's gonna be okay. In his writings, I came across something that said, the voices are quiet now. I'm not upset anymore. I woke up and it was pouring rain. He walked by me outside, he was coming home, and he said, I'm going to sleep.
He was just like kind of going these long days at a time where he wasn't really getting any sleep.
I looked out the window and his car was still there. And I walked out there and I saw him. He had hung himself. That's the scene I play over and over in my mind.
It felt like my body, the world had kind of collapsed under me.
For me, I always dread that one day it will come, so.
What happened that I didn't look out the window? I think that's my biggest element of guilt. Why didn't I go over and look?
I knew right away when I saw the text what it meant. It was just, it just was not the way this whole thing was supposed to end. I feel like I owe him something. I need to share his voice that he couldn't get out there. I finally thought, you know what, I'm going to create a dance about this. It's a very intense show for a lot of people. It's a very intense show for people that didn't know Brandon. and I can't even begin to comprehend the loss for his mom and his dad and his sister.
Anybody who has lost anyone through suicide, you always say, what did I miss? Why couldn't I save him?
What did I do wrong? And what haven't I done? I really don't have any answers to that, you know?
The last thing we want, I think this is true with everybody, is to forget our loved one.
Why aren't we catching people earlier? We aren't stopping people 5 miles back where the exit is. We're trying to catch them on the cliff's edge.
Our goal should be, as a society, to create situations so that people don't get to that edge. The thing that makes a difference for people is connectedness.
Asking is the point related to suicide. That's the wrong question to ask. The better question is what happens to you while you're deployed and how do you make sense out of that life experience? When you're in the moment, that's when it matters. It's when you're on the edge that we need to know, can you walk away?
It's okay, bud. You're okay. You're okay. I was a part of the weapons company. I was a machine gunner. And then I ended up becoming a squad leader for a group of 11 Marines. I just remember really caring about the people to the left and right. Like, that's where this shock of gray comes from, is worrying about my buddies. Was that a potential friend?
What's his name?
His name's Grunt, Sergeant Grunt. Doesn't really fit the name. He's kind of a pushover. He's kind of a coward. Had a buddy that, got hurt. Several buddies that got hurt, but the one from my first tour where we were really close and he got put on a helicopter, that sticks with you. You don't know if you're going to see him again.
That structure, that community, they feel a lot more comfortable being in that setting. And then when they finally get home and they have time to think, it does seem kind of mundane after being over there.
I just didn't feel a connection to anyone. It was so exhausting that I just kind of laid down and didn't move. I just couldn't fathom a world in which anyone needed Jay. That's when Grunt just kept bugging me and cuddling with me and pawing at my hands. It's really hard to talk about this because life right now is going so good. Just recently, my best friend asked me to be an uncle to his kid. And to think I almost denied myself the chance to do that.
Train operator, control center is making attempts to restore power. We should hopefully be moving shortly. Thank you for your patience.
There's no power. We're stuck under. Okay. We're not stuck. We're just spending some time.
We're stuck.
There's
It's terrifying.
nothing to worry about.
It is terrifying.
Where do you want to take the project? What direction?
I want to take the project above ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, forward.
I was hoping that we could do a follow-up at the end where we kind of talk about like what the process taught you about your project, what we could have done differently, how it will possibly inform other projects, which it totally will. You're creating a community, so it's beyond just like the photographs. The photographs are the gateway. And you're talking about how to have some of the most difficult conversations you could possibly ever have with someone. So embracing that and kind of saying, this is okay, this space is gonna help you move through this, and yes, you might not feel neutrally about it, and that's all right.
It's the first show that I've ever done, the first solo show I've ever had for Live Through This. So this is just like a little intro piece with the promo poster of Natalie Medina from Eugene. I just want people to look into these people's eyes, to force the viewer to look into their eyes. What do they say? The eyes are the window to the soul, which is kind of lame, but that is where you find the humanity.
I wasn't answering questions.
I'm just trying to show people like, hey, this happens. And it could happen to anybody.
And I remember the nurses saying, you know, I don't know if you're gonna live through this.
I got a text message saying, the producer of Glenn Beck is trying to get in touch with you. He wants you on the show. And I was like, Glenn Beck.
This is the Glenn Beck program.
You know, in my life, I didn't, not an attempt, but I was close. I was saved by a friend and brought to a hospital. Did you regret trying to kill yourself after trying to kill yourself?
Yeah. You know, that's a strange question. I feel like I needed that experience. I don't want to do it over. I don't like to think about it too hard. It happened and it's over, but it's brought me to this place where I can try and help other people. So yeah, we actually had it was a good conversation. My feelings on Glenn Beck have been colored now. I know he's human.
Yes, it looks so beautiful, so sexy, so backlit, little halo.
I want to do this much larger scale. I really want these portraits to go to universities. Why are we not encouraging the students to take care of themselves? It's the ones that are ambivalent that could be swayed just by someone saying, hey, I love you, are you okay? Those are the lives that you can save, and there are so many.
Suicide is terrifying to people. Even if it hasn't hit you in your own family, we all have a connection and we all have a story. My brother struggled on campus alone for almost the entirety of his college career. Nobody was talking about mental health issues on his campus. And so he lived with this alone, and I'm convinced that it was that time that he struggled without support that ultimately ended up taking his life. And that, you know, in so many ways was the motivating factor for me in starting Active Minds. We've collected 1,100 backpacks that represent the 1,100 college students who die by suicide every year.
We asked our students, would you judge somebody for going to counseling services? And the majority of the students said no. Then when we asked them the question, would you feel that you would be judged if you went to counseling services? Almost all of them said yes.
Until you actually see it on display like this, I think it's hard for people to talk about something that they don't understand.
Active Minds is starting conversations on campus. It's letting people like Brian know that they're not alone.
If one student today walks through here and chooses to speak up out of silence and chooses not to take their life, then all of this is worth it.
My hope is what is the S word now will not be in 10 to 15 years. We've got to start talking about this.
We don't really spend enough time saying, what works best for you? If you don't want to do yoga, you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, whatever. We have to get a little like in the muck of it with people.
I get messages all the time that are like, my friend is telling me they want to kill themselves, what do I do? So it's just like, okay, I've been through this. What you do is you listen. They need to know that somebody is there and willing to sit with them while they're snotty and sobbing and hurting. It's not easy and it's exhausting and it's scary and it is all of those things, but that is the shit that can save lives.
I've had friends who've said they were suicidal, and what is the first thing I'm thinking? I'm like, oh my God. As someone who's like attempted and survived, I'm like, oh, we have to stop this. I have to save you. And then it's like, slow down. What would you have wanted? Not this. You wouldn't have wanted this.
You know, just that shared recognition that this sucks. That is so healing for people. Why do we not have in every community a group of people that meet regularly who struggle with suicide and try to help each other? Fear.
It's the fear that I feel is really at the root of the problem. Let's just let it out there.
I actually attempted 8 years ago today, and I posted about it because I post about it every year. I mean, it's one way to get people talking about it in a really honest way. We all live on Facebook now, we all live on Twitter, we live on Vine, we live on Whisper, wherever the hell we live. We have to be going out there and disseminating the information in that way too.
Clinicians aren't there at 3 a.m.
We can use social media to just ruin people's lives. But we can also use social media to save people's lives. The community really has to save each other. You're only ever going to have so many mental health professionals.
Well, it is May 13th, 5:30 or so p.m. I am gonna propose to Fel. This is the ring that I'm going to steal her soul with, I hope. When Fel and I got to that point, where we were starting to talk about getting married seriously, I knew almost immediately that if anyone was the one, it was going to be her.
Happy New Year, you're all full of grace.
It's so nice to have someone who will indulge in that cliche romantic bullshit with me. So when I was thinking about her ring, I knew that the text that I wanted inside was "Dance with me."
I'm confused about how you turned that around.
Well, this is confusing because maybe I'm drunk a little bit. Fel drinks Prosecco. With her ring, bitches!
Blingin'. The word commit, I feel like it's just a verb. I don't think it,
My speech language pathologist girlfriend tells me that we're having arguments about semantics, and that semantics aren't so important.
I think they're important. I don't agree that commit has the damning implication that you think it does. But you also say commit to marriage. It's a commitment. It's a final decision.
The 6th grader committed suicide last week. The man committed suicide.
Another young rapper is said to also have committed suicide just after posting on Twitter.
Committed is very colorful. It implies a crime or a sin. I personally think that just clarity would be really great. Commit is not a clear word. Died by suicide. You cannot color that in any way.
I have to then rearrange the syntax of my entire sentence.
Oh,
to say died by suicide. What if I'm not using the past tense?
Sucks to be you.
We should just get married here. It's totally free.
You give me the husband.
What says marital bliss and commitment like compost piles? Right up.
Whatever the world
recently that I've been singing songs that actually aren't like really depressing. Whatever Lola Wants by Sarah Vaughan. It's a little sensual, and you get back in the groove one day. It's like family. It's like everyone knows me by my stage name, which is Vegas Cherry. They do not know my name is Kelechi. You know, I don't know that I'd call it a stripper name. It's totally a stripper name. It's a little bit of an escape. Like, I get to be Vegas Cherry for a night, and she's confident and she's badass. I want to bring that into like who I am as Kelechi. Hi! Oh my God, it's so good to see you again. After the attempt, I told my mom, I said, you know, I really want to go to California. She just was like, I'm here to support you, baby. What do you want to do? You want to go to California? All right, let's drive out there. You inspired me. I was like, Marquita's doing it. I can tell my story.
You can tell your story.
Well, especially because there's not a lot of Black people talking about this
not
at
a lot.
all. Working in California in the mental health recovery movement, they're saying things like, we should be involved in our treatment. We should have a say. We should be at the table. I'm down with all of those things. Once I told my story, African-American women came up to me. My cousin, she attempted. My sister, she tried. Ooh, I felt that way. So it's not that it's not happening. We're just not talking about it. And I want to be out about it because we need to have the brown faces talking about this as well. Like, it's not just a white issue.
Is suicide still an option for you?
I don't want it to be. And that's the only answer I can really honestly give you. I don't want it to be an option. That I'm not gonna say that I don't think about it, because I do. It doesn't feel sunshiny and great right now. And that's honest. I'm not lying about it, and I'm not pretending to be happy. I'm just doing it. I don't feel it yet, but at least I'm doing it. For a while, I thought recovery meant never hearing a suicidal thought again. And the moment I had a suicidal thought, I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? The thoughts, they're still there. They come in when I'm sad, but I have a plan around them. They're not gonna frighten me into doing an action that, you know, would take me out of here.
Who would I miss if you were gone? Don't send me out into the cold snow. My body is no longer equipped for that. The skin too thin and the gray clouds press in closer. I know I cannot stay in this room much longer. I can't breathe, baby. I have to get out. Cold-fired pizza.
Well,
Pizza
it's okay.
well
We
done.
have free $3.99 pizza in the fridge.
We do?
Yeah, that's the best kind.
Fine, then we're gonna have it.
We're gonna have it.
I was clueless. Now, I know that you had problems before. I know that you had felt depressed in the past, but I did not know at this particular time. So this was out of the blue for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You hit it well.
Yeah.
Mental health sucks. Okay, they discharged her to me. There was no counseling. There was no aftercare plan. There was nothing.
No.
There's like, okay, here's Kelechi. She's just tried to commit suicide. There's no support. There's no diagnosis. There's nothing. It took a long time for me to come to grips with it's not my fault, and it's a lot of releasing, letting go, and being vulnerable. So we'll start with these two?
We'll start with these and see what happens.
Yeah, and then it might even have a little thing that says pizza.
It does.
Cool.
Pizza one.
Pizza one.
Even though you might have felt angry or confused or sad or mad, you stood by me through some really ugly, scary times, and you just said, what can I do? I think that's part of why I'm alive. So thank you.
I love
Love you too, Mom.
I'm not doing well. I quit smoking a couple of weeks ago. I don't even know how long ago it's been at this point. But I find myself wanting to hurt myself, and I just don't really know how to handle it.
I don't want to kill myself. I just want it to hurt. These are irrational thoughts. These are scary thoughts.
I tried to hurt myself last week, but I don't keep things in the house that I can really hurt myself with. So I tried with a kitchen knife, and I thought I could hide it. And then I slipped and Phil saw it. I lied straight to her face when she asked me what it was.
You can't help but think like, well, why can't I, of all people, get through?
She was like, what do you need? Like, she wanted to kill me. She wanted to set me on fire, yes?
Well, you were being a dick.
Right. Well, yeah, you would like to point out that
You're like, oh, Vel gets frustrated with me when I'm depressed. It's like, it's not that I get frustrated because you're depressed. I get frustrated because you're an asshole.
But I keep wanting to tell you about this turning point, this breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Go.
So I'm a dick when I'm upset. It's true. It is true. The moment I'm hysterical and then also feeling misunderstood, I go some completely different place. Like when I talk about it with my therapist, when shit's going wrong, it's not about my diagnosis, it's about how to manage my symptoms, how to cope.
It's hard to like snap back into happy-go-lucky girlfriend mode when I've been in caretaker mode for a moment. And it's hard for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna feel really hot right now, and we're gonna go on a date. It just felt like for the past few months, we weren't really connecting except for me to console her.
We're automatically at higher risk for suicide just by virtue of having attempted. So I knew that statistically, it was more likely that the more stories I collected, the more people I met, somebody was going to die eventually. And I would wake up every day hoping that that wasn't going to be the day. And then the day came. I don't know, something about it just really threw me for a loop. Even though I knew she was struggling, it's like I watched her, after she shared her story, become this really vocal advocate. Last summer, I remember feeling like, I don't know why we do any of what we do. This is fucking futile. It's useless. And I felt that way for a while. But I don't know if it's because Natalie let me know that she wanted her story to be told, or I don't really know why, but I feel like this has to be done. Like, I've never had more resolve for the necessity of this project. I know that I have to keep doing it until I absolutely can't do it anymore. But what a way to find that out.
Well, you have some choices. You know, it can just destroy you, or you can try to rebuild your own life. How does it feel to stay in this space?
I like it.
Yeah.
It helps normalize things to have his stuff here, because it's sort of like he's still here. Not in a denial kind of way, but it is, you know, it's very connecting to me.
Yeah.
Because I believe in a lot of what he was.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want us to be destroyed over his absence, and so we try not to be destroyed.
Every time I speak his name, it gives me a chance to talk about him again.
Sunrise, to the sunrise.
So now I'm a facilitator in a suicide group.
And we're here to release Brandon. Dear Brandon, we love you. We miss you. But now you're free. You're free and you're at peace. I'm joking.
Phil got a full-time faculty position at Temple University. So we're moving to Philly. And that also means that I get to work on Live Through This full-time. Where's your dad? Hold on. Found my dad. I don't know, it's kind of scary. I have been known to be bad at transitions. Put it down.
Oh, that's it.
Put it down.
You could tell it's your dad.
Put my father down.
Stop it. Stop. Stop.
The only way we're really going to continue to move forward into the future of suicide prevention is together. Thank you very much for your time. I just need to take a break, recharge myself, and come back swinging.
Daddy, I miss you. I really want you to come back. I love you.
I have a family that's in the prime of their life right now. My kids are at an age they're never going to be at. Something has to give. I still want to be involved in suicide prevention, but the balance is the most difficult part. There is definitely an incredible feeling of purpose when I talk to people.
He gets his talks and he writes fantastic things, and he has little girls who adore him. I love him. I mean, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Where's your water?
I'm going to be 40 years old this year, and I'm actually very, very excited about that. I think it's awesome. There was a time in my life when I never thought I'd make it that far.
It's a scary subject. Nobody goes around and says, hey, my kid committed suicide. You know, nobody does that.
When my dad read the book, he called me up and he said, I finished your book. I said, yeah. And he goes, I'm sorry.
It was the worst book I ever read, and it was the best book I ever read, if that makes any sense. I'm just glad everything's the way it is.
Now it's not just me. If I fall, it affects my children. It affects my family. My 4-year-old, she has seen the book, and she was sitting on the floor, and she's holding the cover, and she goes, Daddy, you look like you're in a dark cave. I said, yeah, it does look like that. And she said, you look sad. I said, yeah, but I'm not there anymore. And she goes, and you'll never be there again. I will never tell you that if I can do it, you can do it too. But I will tell you, there was a time when I truly believed that I could not do it. I believed with my heart that I was done, and I was wrong.
Careful.
Live Through This has given me a community. I didn't think that I was looking for people who understood me, who could look me in the eye and say, yeah, I get it. But that's exactly what I was looking for.
I want to know what you're doing now and what your journey's been like to get you here today.
Oh, let's see.
You've lived through it. So
I've lived
you're
through
taking almost an expert advice there
Yeah.
when they're following and getting involved with you and your organization.
It's all about peers.
Absolutely.
Dese'Rae, I am pleased to be presenting you this Peer Leadership Award.
All right, folks, we want to announce the winner of the Paul Quinnett Lived Experience Writing Award.
It's my great pleasure to give this award to Dese'Rae Stage.
I got an award. I gave it to my mom. I was like, look, I'm a gay leader.
They're invested in helping each other continue to live. And even when it feels impossible, there's a hand for them to hold.
It's the ultimate taboo. As human beings, we're terrified of death. And people who are suicidal remind us of that thing that we want to forget.
The revolution in mental health is happening, and we are at the forefront. You are the people who gave me a better future. You're the people I found when I was told that I was all alone.
When I say split this, y'all say rock. Split this. Rock. Split this. Rock.
Activism and the relationships that I formed with other people who understood what I had been through, that was huge.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Non-violent activism.
I found my tribe. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel like a freak. I sat on the steps and I just howled. You know, I just howled for that person who, you know, saw no hope and, you know, just hurt herself over and over.
We all have the things that light a fire underneath us. I'm on a mission to avenge my parents' deaths.
As hopeless as I was, something inside me said I was deserving of a better future. Psychiatry and the mental health system were not going to give it to me. I would have to find it on my own. Sorry, would you mind grabbing this piece? Thank you.
I would never say that someone is beyond hope. I just don't think that way. I think there's people who've been pushed to the point where they just don't see any other option. And that's not their fault, that's our fault. As a society, collectively. We need to stop looking at the symptoms and look at the cause and the root. So I'm excited because I feel like the tide is turning. This is a wake-up call to the suicide prevention field, to really the entire medical establishment, to our lawmakers. We actually have solutions. When you bring in the first-person perspective of those of us who've been there, it brings life into it. We're the people who survived.
We're changing the culture. We're changing the way things have been done for years and years and years and years.
We aren't going anywhere. We can't change anything if we disappear.
We have hundreds of people here right now, all with one intention, to do everything they can to prevent future suicides, and that's it.
Okay, everybody look pretty.
And that's us. There's others all over the place. There's tons more people we don't hear from that are doing the same thing.
more people who are talking about their family's experiences, their own experiences, the less secrecy, the less ignorance. I think that's all to the good.
I felt a funeral in my brain. Just then, a plank in reason broke, and I fell down and hit a world at every plunge.
I would love for anyone who is close to suicide to contemplate the question of whether things could get better, and whether if things got better, it would be worth not doing this. And I think for most people, the answer is yes.
What would you say to suicide if it was a thing, if it was a person? I'd say suck it.
Suck it suicide is just one giant happy accident about sad things. The services that we offer are for survivors of suicide loss, paying for funerals, memorial services, cleanup services, making sure they have resources that are available.
You guys are making a difference.
We could be saving lives if we changed the way that we did things. It is criminal at this point not to.
These are some very impressive teenagers. They shared personal stories tonight about how suicide has affected their lives.
When I started doing these meetings on the Hill, I had a nose ring and I took off my nose ring and, I don't dress like this, but I feel like I have to sort of dress the part being up on the Hill.
We're at a tipping point. The more voices will bring more voices, and just like all the other social movements, we're probably gonna look back in 20 years and think, why was that so hard?
Political change, it has to start from the grassroots. It's not just gonna happen on its own. So I've been pushing for actual real-world legislation. For people who've attempted suicide or who are struggling, we have to get this reflected in policies.
Today I stand up. I stand up as an attempt survivor and as someone who wants to see and make real, lasting change happen. And I hope you'll stand with me, because more and more it becomes clear to me that I am never alone, that we are never, ever alone. We're not only taking back our identities, we're taking control over our narratives.
I'm 8 years old and I'm thinking about suicide. I'm thinking about life, about death. More than anything, I'm thinking, what if? What if I don't have to live this life anymore? I'm 20 years old and I'm thinking of suicide. I'm thinking how I spend more time in a psychiatric hospital than I did in a classroom. More than anything, I'm thinking, what if I don't have to live this life anymore? I'm 34 years old, and I'm standing at an altar. And she is saying yes. Yes, I will spend the rest of my life with you.
When two people collide like that, it's a special kind of magic that happens. Des and Phil are each other's happiest accident.
Sitting on the edge of a bed that I own, in a house that I bought, and in my arms is a baby girl. And I'm thinking, what My God, what if I didn't live this life?
I vow to be your family, your friend, your love. I love you.
I will commit to the rest of this life, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how scary it gets.
I never knew what a healthy relationship looked like until I found you. I never knew what normal felt like. You're everything, and I will always love you.
What if I never lived this life? I'm standing in front of you today and I'm asking myself that question. What if I never lived that life? And I can tell you, I am so grateful that I have. Thank you very much.
I pronounce you bitches married. Oh, you make kids the brides.
I think we all have the capacity to be saving lives.
Why can't it stop?
I want them to see their stories. I want them to share their stories. I want them to be proud of their stories. You know, it's a project about suicide, but I'm focusing on life.
Went to a show down the road. It looked just like a dust bowl. Stood in the crowd and felt alone. Changed so much that I don't know what anything is anymore. Who I am or who I was before.
Here is a sneak peek. The first proof copy came in today. It's called The Chicken in the Tree. My very first children's book.
But I'm alright for now. I get in my head and then I just can't get out. When I fall behind, you're all I need. Will you wait for me? Looked for that feeling all my life. Christmas morning as a child, burning candles make a fire. Me and my brother, we were smiling. It's no surprise I failed to find it. I think I made it up. I'm not alright right now. I got in my bed and now I can't get back out. When I fall behind, I want to see.
I always feel like I'm like in a life game of Frogger, in which like at any time a pedestrian will just roll up. They just assume you will see them. It's definitely a partnership.
Steak. Yeah. I woke up in a tailspin, and you said, "Are you alright right now? If you're in your head, I can help bring you out. When you fall behind, I hope you follow me."
bad because I had intended to get arrested, but I have a dental emergency that I need to take care of so I don't die of an abscess. So I figure I should just live to get arrested another day.
What? Naturally. That's amazing.